Elysia is having me climb this ridiculously tall ladder to the top of that ridiculously tall tree to grab pine cones.
Ridiculously perfect pine cones.
She thinks I'm a firefighter. Little does she know I'm the one that starts the fires, not the one that puts them out.
And little does our YouTube family know that Philip used to climb towers for a living.
Yeah, but look at this ladder.
This is not an unrealistic request. Wait, you forgot your bag. Hudson and London are watching. They're our peanut gallery.
You need the ones at the top, right?
I just need whatever ones are perfect to make puffins, owls, and penguins.
Well,
Please don't fall.
no promise, anything.
I'll take as many as you can get.
Well, actually, just
I think we have 60 styrofoam balls, so I need at least 60. And I'd like, the oh, I know, Hudson, I know.
We're going up. When you're climbing ladders attached to trees, make sure the top is attached to the tree. Not like me. Mine aren't attached to anything, just floating. When you're doing it, make sure yours are attached. Pro tip. You really want to get the ones with the very tip, where the tree is very shaky, like these. Does it get better than this?
Nope. You got this, babe. Okay, so the reason I'm asking Philip to get me some pine cones from the top of this tree is because they are beautiful and they're an orangey brown color and they're so nice and perfect, and all the ones that are on the ground that are fallen from last year are really like grayed out and kind of moldy, and they're just not going to be suitable for what I want to use them for. Since I'm going to use them for crafting, I want them to be really nice and fresh. So he's going to get me some down because all the other ones that have already fallen, the squirrels have eaten, and they eat them till there's just a tiny little stalk in the middle, and they take all of the outside parts of the pine cones off. So there really isn't any that I can use, and the boys have an idea for the craft show that they really want to make, and as well as myself. So today I went and picked up a bunch of the size of styrofoam balls that they need to make their creations, but we need pine cones to do that. And some of the other pine cones on the property are really sappy. They're perfect at the very top?
These ones, yeah.
You're the best. They just look so fresh up at the top. It's a beautiful day here today. Horses are enjoying the sunshine. So nice out. You're doing a great job. Have you been counting?
Man, I don't know.
You're at, I don't know. I was just gonna get on a step ladder and get just some of the lower ones. Feels like, no, I got this. I will get the long ladder and we're gonna get the best ones from the very top.
Do you believe her, YouTube family? You think that's what happened?
I'm just trying to make myself not sound like a bad guy. Be like, get up there, husband, I need pine cones. Pretty late, so the lighting in here is very strange, but I'm determined to get at least one coat on this before I head to bed tonight. And of course, on the framework that we did, I also hung a shelf above the door frame, which I'll show you when I get some things put on it. But let's get this white. Spending the day working on getting all of the wood that we did yesterday painted white. So this is the second coat on this shelf. It's turning out so good. I took down the vinyl racks there so that I could put paint on them. It was just easier. Plus, I couldn't get in between where the two shelves were. So this way I can now paint this side here that I was missing. And yesterday I also hung a shelf above the door, which I think will be great for like wood crates that have storage in them that I'm not going to use all of the time. I did make it go over that cabinet there because you don't really notice it when you're over here working or if I'm filming on this side, because I wanted to keep it from obstructing the shelving to be able to remove the vinyl off on this side. So I think that's going to work best. I have the first coats on both of them. I'm gonna let them dry now that the sun is out. I'm kind of beating the rain because I think it's gonna rain later. So I wanna hopefully get the second coat on and dry so I can get them inside and hang them up. But I think they look really good, and boy, they're so much nicer white. Okay, I'm so excited. I spent some time yesterday tinkering around in the craft room and getting some of my supplies on the shelf that Philip and I built this week. Designing it and building it and it costing us $0 at all has made a huge impact in my storage and organization in the craft space. And since we're heading into craft show season where we're making like crazy, I really wanted things to be a lot more organized than prior years where we just work off the dining room table and we make a mess and we kind of leave it there for a couple months and then we pick it all up when we're all done the busy season. So I think this is going to make a huge impact for us this year. So I want to show you kind of what I have going on. I also got the vinyl shelves hung back up and they are amazing. Best choice ever to follow Philip's advice and paint the shelf and the vinyl racks white. I think it's gonna look so nice in here when it's all done and I get everything else put away. So this is the progress on my rack so far. I started putting some of my crafting belongings back in, and it's so nice to see some of the things coming out of their baskets and being in a more accessible spot. So I still have a lot of work to do in this room, but just being able to get organized is so refreshing. So I'm gonna have stains and spray paints along the bottom shelf. I have adhesives and a bunch of sort of like fasteners and things here. Paintbrushes and like quick grabs. I have some pre-cut shapes already started for some ornaments there. Paints, easily accessible for the boys. It's just at about a 4-foot height, so it's perfect. The boys can just grab anything they want. I have already robbed a few off of my little ombre of rainbow I've had here working at the table downstairs. And then I have a bunch of my other supplies and jute rolls and strings and wire. And then of course, our vinyl shelf that is up now, and it is so amazing. I'm just getting all of my vinyl on it now, but look at how nice that looks. And I am really loving how low profile this shelf is, only sticking out that 4 inches. You cannot even tell from the door that it's even there. It doesn't take up any room in my room at all, and it's gonna leave me so much room for activities. So you can see I still have a ton more work to do in this room. I'm just finishing painting the door frames and then painting the door frame on this side of the room as well, and then starting to put some of my things. I'll be able to get them up there. I just need to finish one more coat of paint around there and across that ceiling spot and the door frame so that we can get this room finished up and get everything back in this space. The other thing is that this closet door is just getting finished painted. I've been putting things away and I don't even have anything in the storage closet yet. It just needs one more coat of paint, but so far this has eliminated about 6 wood crates worth of materials and I still have more to come in. So I think I'm gonna have so much room. In addition to having these cabinets here, which I'm still finishing painting, as you can see, but that is also going to be optimal storage for me as well as on top of both of those. And then my upper shelf. So I think I'm doing really good for storage so far. So today, actually, the 4 of us are all very under the weather. The boys came home from school on Thursday, not feeling that well. Maybe just the first kind of head cold, not feel well from back to school, which I think is very normal. But since we're not feeling that great, yesterday and today, I've spent some time tinkering with a few things to get ready for some samples, not only for our launch for October 1st, but also for our craft show, which we did get into. So if you didn't get that news, we're so excited that we got into the show that we were hoping to. I thought that since last year I talked you through how I was going to prepare for the show, that I would do that and let you know what my plan is for this year. So just like last year, I'm going to use all upcycled materials, which means that I'm going to spend next to no money at all and then see what I can turn that amount of money into by going to the show. I'm also going to be putting some things on our website this year. And so that's going to be separate from what we're doing from this, but everything that I'm going to take to the show this year, I'm hoping to spend under $30 for everything. That's my setup, any of the hooks that I need for my ornaments, every material that we're going to need, including like paint, glue, any top-ups of anything that I already have, and all of my scraps. I'm going to be using scrap wood. I'm going to be using leftover beads, different things that come with that. So the only things that I will be purchasing will be little eye hooks for my ornaments. I purchased 2 different sizes of styrofoam balls for the boys. They use these to make the little penguins that we've made a couple years in a row that have been a huge success. And this year they want to use the smaller ones to create also puffins, which is very Atlantic Canada, as well as some owls with the other ones. So this is really like only a couple dollars worth of materials to be able to let them tinker and make a few things they're envisioning. The eye hooks, and then I did pick up 1 little tub of paint, which was about $4, which we'll use a ton of because it's white and I just mix it with all different colors of paint to be able to make different colors. And then I picked up just 1 pack of beads, which will help me to create some of the eyes for some of the products that I'm going to make. And everything else is going to be completely upcycled materials. So I've already right now only spent about $7 in total. And I did pick up a new hot glue gun because mine was not triggering. So that's it. So I think we're at about $10 in total right now. I have a little bit more room to kind of play if I need to grab any small items or things like that. But for the most part, everything so far. And last year I was able to turn less than $30 worth of materials into $1,400 of materials in the 3 hours of the craft show. So I think that's pretty great and just shows you that you don't have to spend a lot of money if you think outside the box to be able to create an inventory to do your first show. So never be intimidated to sign up and do something like this because you don't need to invest a lot of money to do it. You can use what you have and make a beautiful display and have really beautiful products. You just have to look around and see what you already have at home. And I don't mean like a craft room that's already filled with supplies, because other than what you see here on my wall, I actually only have another couple small little crates worth of things. And those things are things that the kids use mostly, like pencil crayons, markers, some more vinyl for my Cricut machines, things like that. I actually don't hoard a ton of craft materials. If you looked at my small pile of craft supplies, you'll see that they're all items that maybe you would look at and think, what on earth could you make with that? And then I turn them into things. So as I'm going, I'll show you what I'm using to make certain things. But today I wanted to show you my first sample that I did just the other day. And I absolutely love it. And I think it's so simple, yet so sweet and very coastal. I just want to show you what I made out of scrap wood, which is going to be one of the designs that I'm taking to the show. It's a new one for us this year, which I think is fun. Every year I take new things. And so that's going to be exciting to show you guys along the way over the next couple of weeks. So this is my first one. Again, it cost me $0. And I just used 1 small 3-piece, it's about a 3-foot piece of board, and I'm able to make 16 of these ornaments out of that 1 scrap piece, which again, left over from something else. So not costing me anything to prepare. And I have the paint already to create this. I don't have my hanger or anything on this yet, but this is my first little sample. It's obviously a sailboat, and on the sailboat, it is floating in the water. And what I did was I used my scroll saw to create almost like a little puzzle that I can glue together. And I think I'm gonna stagger the wood of the waves just a little bit to make it look a little bit more 3-dimensional. And then I'll be able to add my hook, and I think I'm gonna do a very thin red string on it. But that is one of my first samples. I think it's so cute. And I do really like leaving the edges raw on ornaments for some reason or another. I just like that kind of folk art look. So that's one of my first ornaments. So let me know what you think. I have lots more fun ideas to come. So oftentimes when I'm making a new sample, I'll make it for the first time and I don't have a template or a stencil in mind or even drawn out. So then what I did was, because I made this first one and I really liked it, and it turned out the way that I wanted it to, I then will trace these individual pieces. So this is just gonna be my block sample piece to continue to trace time after time after time. I'll put it in a baggie and label it. Sometimes if I have an idea where I know it's exactly what I want, say a shape of a heart or something that's very generic, then I can cut it out on a cardboard piece or a piece of cardstock that I can trace time and time again. But sometimes when you're making something for the first time, you just have to wing it and see how it works and then figure out how you're going to be able to template it to recreate it later. So for this one, I'm just going to trace individual shapes which I've done out on my board. And then I can head to the scroll saw and cut out another 15 of these to be able to create, 16 ornaments with just using one small little piece of scrap wood, which I can charge, my budget for each of the ornaments. And so I always like to keep all the smalls, as many smalls as I can on my table, because smalls sell very quickly. And as we go over some of the stuff for the craft show for the next couple of weeks while we're working on preparing for the show, I'll give you some of my tips and tricks and things that I have noticed over the past 12 or so years of doing craft shows, like what's worked for me and what hasn't. But so far, I've learned that taking smalls has been my number one success when I do the shows. So that's what I'm focusing on first, is all of my ornaments. And then I'll be able to go from there if I have more time. So I have put a couple of the boats on my ElysiaEnglish.com website. There will be a launch on October 1st, but I thought I would put a few of them up now because I know a bunch of people will be asking for them. And then we will show you some more this week on what we're doing for the craft show. We have a huge announcement on something that we're working on that is going to be a new adventure for us coming up early this week, as well as some of our new projects coming up. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on tomorrow's episode.